Time Traveler Chinky and the Magical Clock. Part 1. The Discovery of the Magical Clock. 2,200 words. In a small village named Sanpur, lived a smart and curious 9-year-old girl named Chinki. She wasn't alone. Her best friend was a tiny talking robot named Tony, who could fly, scan things, and crack jokes all day. One evening, the village was in darkness due to a power cut. Chinky walked over to her grandmother. Chinky, Grandma, will you tell me a magical story today? Grandma smiling. Of course, my dear. Tonight, I'll tell you the story of the magical clock. She began to narrate the legend of a mysterious ancient clock that could take its owner to the past or future. But the clock was lost long ago, hidden in the cave of time, deep in the jungle past the hills. Tony, what if the clock is still real? Chinky, wide-eyed. If we find it, we could see the past, or even the future. The next morning, Chinky packed her backpack. Flashlight, water bottle, snacks, a map, and Tony's charger. The adventure had begun. Part 2. Secrets of the Cave. 2,200 words. After a long walk through the jungle, they reached a mysterious stone wall with the carving of a clock. Tony scanning. There's a hidden door here. Chinky touched the carving and the ground shook. The wall slowly opened to reveal a dark cave. Inside, glowing paintings told stories of time travel. Words on the wall read, "Only those who understand the value of time may pass." Suddenly, a giant stone guardian statue came to life. Statue. You must pass 3 trials to reach the clock. They accepted the challenge. 1. Fire bridge. A narrow, shaky bridge over lava. Chinky walked carefully while Tony flew beside her. She made it! 2. Tunnel of winds. A wind tunnel tried to push them back. Chinky used a rock as a shield and pushed forward. 3. Whirlpool challenge. A lake with a magical whirlpool. Chinky swam while tied to Tony with a rope, who pulled her out just in time. At last, they met Zarko, the guardian of time. Zarko. The clock chooses only the worthy. The glowing magical clock floated into Chinky's hands. Zarko warned, with great power comes great danger. The Black Master, the enemy of time, will awaken if you misuse it. Part 3. Danger in the future. 2,200 words. Back home, Chinky set the clock to the future. August 7, 2125. With a flash of blue light, they landed in a futuristic city. Flying cars, hoverboards, holograms, schools, robot helpers everywhere. A robot guard scanned them, then allowed them to explore. They met a futuristic boy named Neil, a young inventor who showed them around. Neil, we use science to heal Earth, not harm it. But far away, Black Master, long asleep, felt the clock's power awaken. Black Master angrily. That clock belongs to me. He sent a giant evil robot to capture Chinky. The robot crashed into the school. Robot, give me the clock or I'll destroy the city. Tony tried to fight it but got thrown away. Chinky and Neil escaped using a future tunnel. Suddenly, Black Master appeared on every screen. Black Master, give me the clock, or face total destruction. Tony was repaired and upgraded with new armor. Together, the 3 formed a plan and entered Zero Time Zone, Black Master's lair. A mighty battle began. Chinky raised the clock and spoke the words Zarko had taught. Time is truth, not power. Time protects, not destroys. The clock glowed, and Black Master vanished into darkness. They escaped just in time. Zarko's voice echoed, now your final journey awaits. Travel to the past and discover the truth. Part 4. The Amazing Journey into the Past. 2,200 words. Chinky, Tony, and Neil stood under the glowing skies of the future city, still catching their breath after the battle with Black Master. Then, Zarko's voice returned, this time more serious. Zarko echoing. Chinky, To truly protect the future, you must understand the past. Go back to the time before the clock was made and uncover its true purpose. Tony blinked. Time before time? That must be centuries ago. Chinky took a deep breath and turned the dial on the magical clock to year 1250 AD, the age of ancient knowledge. Blue lights began to swirl again, and with a loud whoosh, they vanished. Arrival in the ancient kingdom. They landed in the middle of a huge green forest. In the distance, a golden palace glimmered in the sun. People were riding horses, wearing robes, and working with ancient tools. A kind old monk named Guru Dev found them near a river. Guru Dev, travelers from the sky? Only those chosen by time may enter the kingdom of Kaldesh. He led them to the palace of King Arvin, a wise ruler who had once commissioned the creation of the magical clock. Inside the royal library, Chinky found ancient scrolls. Tony, translating. The clock of time was made not to control time, but to remind humans of its value. Neil added. Then, using it for power was never the goal. The truth behind the clock. They learned that the clock was created by 5 sages, each from a different corner of the ancient world. They combined stars' knowledge, Earth's rhythm, moon's patience, fire's energy, and human wisdom. It was meant to be hidden forever unless someone pure of heart needed it. Just then, the royal warning bells rang. A hooded man entered the court. His voice was dark and angry. Man, I am Moro, descendant of the one who once tried to control time. I demand the clock. Moro was none other than Black Master's ancestor. He had come to claim the blueprints of the magical clock and build his own. King Arvin refused, but Moro declared war. The great battle of Kaldesh. The skies turned gray. Soldiers stood on the palace walls. Chinky, Tony, and Neil knew they had to help protect the kingdom. Tony flew into battle with energy beams. Neil created protective shields using ancient crystals. Chinky used the clock not to fight, but to slow down time and save lives. But Moro was powerful. He summoned a shadow army, blocking out the sun. Then, Chinky saw the time tree, an ancient tree that was the source of balance in the world. If it fell, all timelines could collapse. Chinky to Tony. We must protect the time tree at all costs. They rushed there, but Moro was already attacking it. The final choice. Chinky opened the clock and saw one final button appear. Seal time. Tony worried. That button, it can lock the clock forever. Neil, you'll never be able to time travel again. Chinky stared at the button. All the adventures, all the power would be lost. But she remembered Zarko's words. Time protects, not destroys. She closed her eyes, pressed the button. Flash! A beam of pure white light shot out of the clock. Moro's shadow army dissolved. The time tree healed. Peace returned. Back to the present. Zarko appeared one last time in front of Chinky. Zarko. Chinky, you have done what no one could. You didn't just travel through time, you understood it and protected it. The clock floated from her hand and turned into a bright blue star, rising into the sky. Tony, softly. It's over. Chinky, Tony, and Neil returned to their own times. No time travel, no magical clock. Just memories and the wisdom that time is precious. Epilogue, a new beginning. Back in her village, Chinky started a time school, teaching kids to use time wisely, to live in the moment, and to respect the past and future. Tony became the assistant teacher. Neil, in the future, created a memorial called the Guardian of Time, with a statue of Chinky holding the magical clock. And somewhere, in the skies, the clock's light still shined as a symbol of hope. Part 5. The Return of Time. 2,200 words. Months had passed since Chinky pressed the final button and sealed the magical clock forever. She and Tony had returned to a peaceful life in their village. The skies were clear. The birds chirped as if singing a song of time's balance. Chinky was now known all over as the girl who traveled time. But one evening, a mysterious golden feather floated down from the sky. Tony, analyzing. This feather, it's not from any bird, it's from the time realm. Suddenly, the wind whispered, "Time needs a guardian again." The message from Zarko. That night, as Chinky slept, a blue portal appeared in her dream. There stood Zarko, the guardian of time. Zarko, serious. Though the clock is sealed, a greater threat rises not from time, but from beyond it. You are needed once more, Chinky. Chinky woke up breathless. Chinky. But I don't have the clock anymore. Tony. Then we'll need to find the new source of time. They decided to return to the cave, where it had all begun, the cave of time. The cave reawakens. The cave was no longer dark. It shimmered with blue energy. In the center floated a time crystal, the core from which the original clock was made. When Chinky touched it, she saw flashes of timelines, past, future, alternate versions of herself. One showed her as a queen, one as an astronaut, one as a lonely old woman. Tony, this crystal is showing you all possible futures, but only one is real, the one you choose. Suddenly, a rip appeared in the cave's walls, and out came a strange shadow creature made of lightning. Shadow, echoing voice. I am Nullius, the breaker of time. You sealed the clock, but now I will destroy time itself. Battle beyond time. Nullius opened a massive tear in the fabric of time, causing the moon to reverse, the stars to freeze, and rivers to flow upward. People in Chinky's village forgot who they were. Days turned to nights in seconds. Clocks everywhere exploded. Tony's circuits went haywire. Tony. Chinky. This is chaos. If Nullius isn't stopped, time will collapse completely. They needed help. Using the time crystal, Chinky sent a signal to the past and future. Moments later, Neil arrived through a portal from the future. Zarko appeared from a glowing star, and to her surprise, Grandma entered the cave, revealing her secret past. Grandma, smiling. I too was once a time traveler, Chinky. The final stand together. The five formed the Guardians of Time. They created a new clock, not made of gears, but of memories, choices, and light. Chinky faced Nullius directly. Chinky, time isn't something to break. It's something we live, something we love. She held out the new clock, now pulsing with the hearts of everyone she had ever helped. A beam of golden energy shot out, wrapping Nullius in vines of memory, good moments, laughter, tears, birthdays, stories. The shadow screamed and shattered into stars. A new time begins. As the dust settled, time began to heal. Clocks restarted. Rivers returned to normal. The sun and moon found their rhythm again. But the new clock did something unexpected. It chose Chinky as its guardian. Zarko, proudly. You no longer need to travel time. You are now its protector. Time flows with you, Tony smiled. So we're not travelers anymore. We're keepers. Back in the village, Chinky returned home to find her village glowing literally. Time was flowing more peacefully, more beautifully. The trees looked greener. The stars twinkled brighter. She opened a small time library, where kids could read stories of the past and write dreams for the future. She hung a sign on the wall, use your time well. You are its master. Moral of the story, perfect for kids. Time is more than numbers on a clock. It's memories, love, and growth. We can't control time, but we can use it wisely. You don't need a magical device to be a hero. Your actions decide your future.